Hello my little humans, this is No Pony Special with No Pony Reviews, and today we are looking at the Shogun Megazord from the Super Sentai Ninja Sentai Kaigu Ranger. I cannot pronounce the actual Japanese version of these Zords have presented before me, so we are just going to call them by the English names which we learned in the Season 3 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Starting from my left, we have the Bear Shogun Zord, the Wolf Shogun Zord, the Ape Shogun Zord, the Crane Shogun Zord, and the Frog Shogun Zord. Now, each of these Shogun Zords now have a weapon, part of the Super Mini Play series. We have a chain rake, looking, well, actually, it's a chain claw. This is kind of like a flail from medieval times, but more ninja style. For the Bear Zord, we have kind of a spear-like lance for the Wolf. We have a throwing star, not a shield. I was wrong about what it was because in the US version, the original Shogun Zord that we ended up getting, that thing was round like a shield, so I did presume it was a shield. That's my bad. We have these tuning fork looking type of blades here. They kind of have a rounded look for the Crane, and we have bow and arrow for Froggy Boy. And lastly, we have the sword, the beautiful sword for the Shogun Megazord. We'll get more into that a little later. Alright, now these Zords are fantastic. I have no issues with any of these except for Bear Zord, which this leg here at the joint is very loose. It will take some doing, but I can actually fix that to make it a little tighter if I want. But that's neither here nor there. The only Zord I really have an issue is with this guy right here. And a lot of people do have an issue, and I've corrected one of these. Let me pick that up. As you can see, they are very, very good at posability. Now let's come down here to where we can see better. Now the problem I have with this Zord particularly, let's straighten them up and look forward. We could go ahead and just take out the weapon while we discuss this. This is actually a problem I have with the entire line, but it's just a minor issue I'm not going to complain about. Is the arms falling off. No, what I have an issue with is right here with the feet. Now, I understand why they designed it the way they did, but you have to take it from my point of view. It is a horrible design. Now, what I'm talking about is right here. This piece right here. Now, I understand the ideal for having it to peg into the foot so it could spin like this and you could get some good posability out of it. But the problem is it pops off. It has no locking mechanism. It would be better if it could lock on, you know, just a little bit of a clip, kind of like a ball joint clip or something. Just something just to hug around and lock it in. If that couldn't have been done, they could have just at least made this solid to where these could have just became solid, and a ball joint here. A simple ball joint on the back and a ball joint here on the ball joint hole where this could go, and you could have had the exact same range of movements that you needed without having structural issues. The second issue, which everybody has a problem with, is the fact that this is tight to turn. And for me, once you start turning it, it's fine, but before you can, it is a pain to actually move. Now what I did was actually use some baby oil to put in here. I'm actually probably going to take these apart and do something a little bit better for these joints particularly, because they're very difficult and hidden well. Probably going to take something like petroleum jelly and just, and I'm talking about just a very greasy, it doesn't dry out, so it's good on that part. Just to allow this a lot more wiggle room. Here, that, see? This has issues turning otherwise. And that is one issue, that is the main issue that everyone seems to be having with the Super Mini Plate. Oh, my current issue is not putting it in the right area. Another issue I've been having is the fact that even though these clip in, they don't hold well due to the fact that these have had a little bit on tight on transformation. But that is an issue that I can work around, and I'm thinking about, I'm going to end up putting some, I have some clear coated enamel paint. I'm just going to add just a bit, let it dry, add this to it to allow a little bit more friction. That's up to you. In addition, it doesn't hurt to take that same method with the baby oil and add some to this. Now, I'm talking about right here in the inner peg, because during transformation, this becomes difficult otherwise. Pulling it off is a pain, and yes, whenever you're exposed like this, the baby oil will go away, it dries up. Like I said, I'm going to try to find some plastic lubrication or get some petroleum jelly and just very nicely put some in there using one of these. Just a little bit right there. I have no idea what's on my finger. Yeah. Anyway, that's just something I wanted to point out, something that could have been modified on and done better, in my personal opinion. Now let's put him back together and be done. Alright, so we all know the articulation for each and every one of these Zords. So we're not going to get into that. No, we are not. What we're going to get into is combining. Yes. What we're going to do is combine the weapons into their two separate forms and one single form, which I had to create myself a bit. Now, yours could vary depending on how you want to do this, but the two separate forms, the first one will take the blue and yellow Zord, the Bear Zord and the Wolf Zord, and we will take their parts, having the solid section, not the hollow, outwards. And same goes for the bear. There's a peg hole here and a peg here. In conclusion, we'll state, voila, that's it. That's your first weapon. Now, I've actually hidden a piece inside the Bear Zord and inside the Frog Zord, since it's part of this. First, what we're going to do is pull out the original hand, the secondary hand that comes with this Zord, and pull out the second hand, which is hidden on the back of the bow. Going to place that inside, and then we're going to simply just pop open the back and reveal the handle. If I have any complaints, it's the fact that the backs do fall off a little bit too easily. On the feet Zord, I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing that happens. It's not a bit deal breaker. These things are small, tiny, and you snap them together. Not a deal breaker for me. Let's just place that all back together. You stand a 10. Alright. And we'll also come here to the white crane sword and just... And I say white instead of pink because this one is a white crane sword. Yay! Alright, let's move the camera down a little. Alright, we're going to take the shield and this piece here. There's a little peg hole right here and it'll go right here on the peg. Then we're going to simply make sure this is pointed outwards, the little handle piece. And we'll leave it like that. Next, we're going to take each one of these little tongs, blades, whatever they are. I don't have a clue on what they're actually called. If you know, leave a comment down below. I'll be glad to know that information. That would be great. And we just peg them in like so. By the way, if you saw how the crane Megazord, Shogun Zord was holding these, that was the proper way, not what I did in the video, which was wrong. It is a way you can actually make them hold them, but for some reason it was not working to get inside the fist at the time. It was just circumstances. Anyway, next we'll grab the mighty arrow. We're going to go ahead and pop the hand off of here, the little clutch. And then we're just going to peg this here because storage. What else? Alright, we're going to take this peg and the final hole right here. And we're just going to peg them together. Like that. And this is the second weapon. Okay, it's a thing. It is a thing that it will be held by the Zord. I don't know. I have no words for these things. These are just, it's a thing. It's a thing you can do. It's a thing that can happen. So, I did say there was another combination. What we're going to do is remove these parts here. We're not going to need this. And pick up anything that we throw on the floor. We're just going to remove these parts. Switch around the tongs to where they're now pointing towards the peg. Tongs, tuning forks. Let's just call them tuning forks for right now. Tuning fork swords. Fork swords. There we go. And then we're just going to peg the slot where the fist was right into this section here, and that is that part. Next, we're just going to take the bear claw thing and just simply line up the peg hole where the fist is and peg it in there like so. Then line it up. We're going to rotate this 180 degrees to where this is now facing forward. And we have just 2 extra parts left over. And we could combine them together for a nice little handgun. Oh, I should be shot for that one. That's just so stupid. I couldn't resist. I really couldn't. But yes, you have a handgun that can be held by the Megazord and to have monsters laugh into submission. But that being said, this is what you get whenever oh, sorry. I almost choked on myself. This is what you get whenever they're all combined. Now, granted that the symbols do not show up onto this side. They are completely hidden by all this. But it is a thing that can be done. It is a thing that you can do. It is just one of several combos that you could probably come up with. Using the shield, the throwing star, I should say. It is your toy. Do with what you wish. Make it your own. Make it your Come up with some crazy weapon ideas. These things could combine in several different ways. Come up with your own way. I mean, this is mine with all the weapons. This kind of looks like what they were doing it with the original Zord pieces. So yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing that can be held by the Zord. That being said, that's over with. That's done. It's fine. Let's put that and the handgun away. Alright, let's get down to transformation. Alright, first we are going to start off with the Megazod. Roar! Haha. Oh, I am having too much fun. Alright, first thing we're going to do is straighten out the arms. Make sure everything's fine. Everything is fine. Because we are going to be doing a lot of things. Now, I will admit that although this leg is loose, it doesn't hold very well on poses. See, it just came loose. It came loose. And that's because mine actually cracked right here, and I have been, adding a couple layers glue on the inside of this section, and it does need a few more layers to actually get some tightness there, but it does have enough tightness to hold. That is just something that has happened to mine. Although I have added the baby oil to this to make this a lot looser whenever it's broken free, I will have to actually add some type of plastic grease for this, because it does not want to come loose otherwise. There we go. Alright, first things first, we are going to remove the head. We're going to have a headless bear. Shogun. Next, we are going to pull back the Zord's back. We are going to then grab a hold of the arm right here and just rotate it 180 degrees. Then bend the elbows at over 90 degrees and just pop it right back down like so. Second verse. Do you like the first? I'm trying not to copy Ingo on everything on he says, but it is catchy. Yes, he made a catchphrase. Alright. After that's done, we want to then shimmy down, all the way down, right here. All the way down, and that one was a lot easier. Then we want to push in the fist like so, and just have them tuck in like that. And just do it on both sides. Now it becomes difficult because you lose some hand room. Just kind of finagle it right into there. There we go. Just like that. Now we have the head. What we're going to do with the head, there's a space right here in each of the leg Zords that allow you to just drop that head right in. And shake it right out. Yeah, it doesn't have to be any way, but, try to get it in there flat as possible. And then we just close. Make sure everything's down, everything's in, compressed. And we just close it up. And that's that. Next we are going to shift the legs all the way down like so. Make sure everything's just in this part. Actually, first, I'm getting ahead of myself a little. First, we're going to line up and lock in the legs together. Try to do your best on that. It can be a little finicky. Then we are going to pull back right here below the legs. Do not pull right there, and push up. Right. Now the Megazord's a little tight around those joints. And once, there we go. Now once that's done, we just line up the pegs on both sides. Yeah, sure. Line up the pegs. Line up the pegs. There we go. And just press that back together in the front. It happens. This happens every time I've transformed it. Alright. Now that everything is solid, next thing we're going to do is pull up and pop this peg off on the inside. This creates ankle tiltage. There's a ball joint with a long peg that we put in during the build review. Right there, that holds this at its tilt. Now this also lifts up the back section, but it holds pretty well. There we go. And that is the leg. Alright, one leg down, one to go. Now, as of course, we will remove the frog's head. Now, one thing I've always had a problem with the frog is that his back always tends to pop off on me. And I'm going to try to do this without popping off their backs, without doing that. Now, yes, you can just fold up the arms and hold this section to make it a lot easier. And then we, see, don't even have to try. It just comes off. And just slide them all the way down like so. With it off, you might as well just go ahead and just turn in the arms. Once they look like so, they are good to go. Alright. Then we'll take the head and just right inside, drop it in. There we go. My laptop must have been done with yep, it's done with the editing for one video. I apologize. Did not expect that right here and now. Give me a second. Alright, I apologize about that. I was actually doing the Blue Megazords video. I apparently made an error. I'm gonna have to re-upload that. Anyway, let's ignore that conversation and continue on. What we're going to do is put the head in, make sure it's kind of, see, it has a little tab on it. You could actually just try to set that tab towards the back like so. Let's see if we could get some good lighting. I'm going to try to turn that on. There we go. Yeah, just actually kind of just get it back there with the tab towards the back and we would be good. There we go. Alright. Now we'll just grab the back and go ahead and just slide that back on smoothly and just lock it in. Lock it in, lock it in. Alright, we will then push together the bottom feet like that. Then we will pull down and straighten out like so. It's a lot easier with the Frogzord. And I will be taking these apart again for the ones that are very difficult and just redoing some of this. And that's a lot easier for this guy. Next we just pull apart to make the ankle tiltage. And yes, you have to be careful with that. If you pull apart too much without lifting up the back, it does come off. There we go. You gotta make sure you have the right balance between the two. Alright. That being done, we have our ankle tiltage. And we are done with the legs. Next, let's come up to the body. Now, I do have some problems with what I'm about to do. First things first, we want to go ahead and pop open the back and reveal the head. Now, the head, which apparently the stickers are already starting to come off due to the transformation ordeal. Let's get that nice and flat. There we go. Look good for the camera. Now the head actually has one issue that I really think could have been fixed by adding a little extra plastic. Give me just a second. If they added a little extra plastic guarding right here, just to keep it from going anywhere. Just a little bit right there. Just a little plastic. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Just a little groove on both sides to keep it from going there instead of like this. I mean, you can actually just move it, but to the position you want. But that's it. We'll go ahead and pull out the face and take a look at that face. That is a beautiful face. Stickers, everything. It is still a very nice head. And you still have sections, molded details, everything you can ever ask for to paint. Do with what you will. Your toy, do as you wish. I am not that detailed. It takes me a long time just to even do one Megazord custom. Now, let's put that aside and get down to ape transformation. Now, like the bear and frog swords, you will slide down the arms like so. And I know I'm doing this a little bit differently, just a little. We'll rotate the arms 180 degrees, put them back, bend them at 90 degrees to where they're looking forward, like so. Do this to both arms, either way you want to do it. And of course, the bloody thing. That's why I always try to turn. I should always try to turn them right here at the joints, because that doesn't always work. And then you just turn inward into the. Of course it does. And that's the issue I have with that. See, I'm not even messing with the feet and they just fall off. And the arm just falls down. This Zord is one of the worst out of all of them that just came out of line. And its design ordeal. Damn. Alright, let's try that again. Put the fist in. Fine, we'll just take off the back. Take off the back and try this. There we go. Now I think that's just because of the way the back's designed. It doesn't give us a lot of room to mess with. Alright, we do this same on both sides. And yeah, it really just doesn't give us the amount of room we need, you know, with the toy's transformation abilities. And as you can see, it doesn't matter which side you have it on. These designs are exactly the same. They make sure they all have the perfect design. I mean, I could try. I think the reason I took that off. Yeah, that has a little bit better. So we'll just go ahead and switch those up. I could have got that wrong whenever I fixed it in the first video. There we go. Yeah, a lot better. It's always good to make sure you have everything assembled right. Things go right. There we are, and that is brilliant. Very brilliant of me. Now, one thing I actually can compliment the red Ape Zord that did better at than these guys did is where this is. the Megazod decided to use that on top where these went backwards. That would have been a better design for those and this one. Alright, next we're going to shift up the symbol. Yay. And we're going to go ahead and place the feet back on because we're going to transform this. Alright, we're going to rotate at the same time, push down to make sure this goes at the same time. And then right here in the center point, this peg will go into that hole. Alright, and I know this video is already running long because of my ramblings. I apologize. And right there. It's a little difficult to see when you try to get it in. But let's go ahead and remove the bottom of the body. There we go. Pegged in. And let's make sure everything's compressed, everything's in, everything's good. Now, let's try going for the second leg, and we'll just go ahead and try to move that first a little, make sure everything's just loose. And we always want to go for the back one, because as we saw whenever this was taken apart, on the other leg, there's not much there to hold it. Alright. And I stand by what I said about this making this solid and this having a peg hole instead. I mean, not a peg hole, a ball joint instead. That's basically my personal opinion. That would have been better, and I still stand by it. Because the more you move this around, the more apparent it is that those sections right there and those little black sections that are attached to this, they don't want to stay on the actual legs. They kind of just come separated. Alright, that being done, we're just going to go ahead and peg the legs on here. And peg them on here. Alright, that's done. Make sure the skirting's kind of just... There we go. Skirting's at least a little bit even. We want to make sure he's good. We'll go ahead and grab the Megazord body. There we go. Alright, see? It's getting in. And I did actually remove the stickers from the eyes and kind of just messed up some of the headband. So I kind of just did this. Yay! I did like the face better and the eyes, even though I scratched it up a bit. It still looks a lot better than that painted on junk. Alright, well, we'll get down to this section. Alright, so we'll take the blue wolf Zord and we will move its head straight forward, arms down. Make sure the fists are properly positioned, arms down. And then I am so sorry. I apologize for that. Our dog was barking at shadows again. She does that every night. Alright, where was I? Yes. After the arms are pulled straight down, we then lift up the arms and compress them down on right there, making them solid. You heard it click. We do the same thing on the other side. Alright. And then just push down right there. Alright. Next, we are going to straighten out the legs. Now, I personally like to keep the fingers, these sections here, extended. So we'll go ahead and just push back the, just going to collect them together and push that back. And then followed by pushing in the fingers, which are now apparent. and then rotating them right back around. And this is just because of the personal way I like to keep the Zords with these out. You don't have to. If you don't want to, it is your toy. Alright. Next, we are going to attach this with these two peg holes to these two pegs on the sides. Of course, it's an arm. You know where it goes if you've ever had this before as a kid. Alright. Let's line it up and lock it in. Lock it in, lock it in. Okay. We're one arm. We got an arm. Speaking of which, we got another arm coming. Alright, our little white crane, we want to first pull down the shoulders, pull down the legs, get her looking straight forward. And then we are going to rotate the hands, make sure they're straight down here, and looking forward. She does have a little tab like the Frog Zord on the back of her head. And I have to say, look at that molding, look at that detail. One thing I don't like about this entire series are the stickers. The stickers are just paper stickers and they do wear out fast. Few transformations and they're practically done for. Alright, we will now push up and down on the arms, collapsing them over the head. Again, we will repeat that. Push it up. I should say, yeah, I guess pushing it up and then collapsing it downward. Like so. Alright. Next we'll combine the legs. Push it back. Push in the fist. And the reason I do this is because I've tried this before with the fingers extended. They always catch right here on the back of this. So this is just to prevent catching. Alright, and then we just close it up. And there we have it. Right, then we'll go ahead and take this and peg it into the two holes over here. And there we go. Alright, let's lift that up and take a look at that noggin. And next we'll take the helmet. And just slide it on just like that. And that's kind of the thing. There's nothing to lock it. That's kind of the reason why I kind of wanted the extra little pieces. Is because although it locks in pretty well, decently, there's nothing to keep these from flapping, from actually going from where they should go. There's nothing on the Zord itself that'll prevent it from going down, nor is there anything on the helmet. That's the only reason why. Alright, now let's add the sword, because what Megazord wouldn't be complete without a sword. So we're going to open the individual fingers and grab the sword. And just slide it in like so. And before we lock it in, just want to show you, this is a tight fit. Not even closed, and nope, that's not going anywhere. Chop, 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 chop. Chop, chop, chop. That is going nowhere. Yep. Anyway, it has a good grip. Now, oof. And yes, it would have been nice to actually have that same lock-in suction cup thingy or peg hole thing for the fist, because they do end up popping off easily. Alright, let's readjust the camera to take a look at this guy. Alright, let's get down to posability. First, we'll start with the arms. They do a 360-degree rotation. They can go out this far, or they can go back this far. They have full range of movement and knocking off the head. And allowing me to drop the head. Yay! Heads are going to fly. Alright, we do have full range of movements. Movements on that. We do have forearm rotation, 360 degrees. We have over 90 degrees elbow bend without an elbow. That's right. 90 degrees, over 90 degrees. It is that. Each finger has 2 sections of 4 fingers that can open and close. The legs can't. Let's put that up there. After moving the yep, see, without a lock-in peg, these fall apart easily. That is a major complaint. Alright, the legs can kick out this far. They can kick back there. Not really able to kick back. Not without lifting up or removing pieces. Alright, they can kick out that far. They have a 90-degree bend at the elbow, and apparently have issues with staying locked in. They have ankle tiltage. No real movement on the ankles, really. Nothing. They have just tiltage on the ankles. There we go. We have fall apart areas. And with the holiday seasons now approaching, I suggest any Ranger fan could actually come out and get this. Head does rotate 360 degrees. It can look slightly up. It can't look down. It could wibbly wobbly all over. It can come off. It could detach. It can do a lot of things. It slices. It dices. It's automatic. The flaws with this is the fact that it doesn't actually clip in where it needs to be, but other than that, it is a fine Zord. Now let's see the makeshift weapon in action. First, we're going to open the hand. Open-handed policy. Right. We're going to move these out of the way to allow clearance. And then close each one of those, dropping this down, and then pushing these back into design. To where they go. And there it is. That is something. All right. Let's get some size comparison. Here he is next to a standard SD Gundam model. Yay! They're bad. They look bad. Awesome. Yay. Here he is against the Super Zeo Megazord. Let's get some real size difference. There we are. And he is short. He is short compared to the Super Zeo. Here we go. A little bit better. Super Zeo outranks him by half a Zord. Half a Zord. Here he is against Optimal Optimus in fighter mode. There we are. Let's put that off to the side. And last but not least, here he is against the predecessor, 1994's Ninja Falcon Megazord. And this will be a comparison when we get the Super Mini Play versus that one. They'll be about the same size. And he barely comes up to the frog's crotch. Or mouth. Whichever one you want to go for. The Zord's crotch, the frog's mouth. Either way, something red and slimy comes out. I apologize, that was wrong of me. Alright. And yes, with the holiday seasons, I do suggest buying this guy. He is a wonderful guy. He is a great guy. He is wonderfully great. And I suggest anyone to get him. And his awesomeness. So, if you're out there on the market, I'm pretty sure if you want a good price for this, all you have to do is go to the eBay link down below. Awesome Japan Awesome is the seller I purchased this from, and he does have, they do have more of these for sale, and I suggest picking up one. Yay! It's not for the same price that I picked it up on. It could be cheaper, it could be lower. You know, eBay is what it is. So, pick this guy up, enjoy him, put them together, and like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, or I will smite you with a fire-breathing sword. Roar. This has been No Pony Special saying, keep playing, keep entertaining, and enjoy your holidays. Goodbye. Oh, fingers in your face. Alright, my little humans, before I leave you guys with these final thoughts, I did end up buying some petroleum jelly. Right here, I got this over at the Dollar Tree for $1. It's just a small vial. You don't even need this much. But I did end up putting it on some of the tighter joints, and this is called Extreme Lacquer. It's wet look, clear. Let's get focused. This is $5.79 at Hobby Lobby. What I do is I actually spray it into a cup and then pour it into an empty vial like this one, and then use a simple paintbrush to paint with, and then let it dry. What I used that on was actually the arm joints, because they do tend to fall off. As you can see, they are tighter. They do not come off as easily after drying and being placed in. I put them on the inside. Let's go ahead and pull that apart. Put it on the inside here and here. In addition, to create a more stable wing mass, and I haven't to where it doesn't flop down, just by placing it on the inside of this piece only, it does make it a lot more stable, which allows the form to stay regardless. See? Hey, not so floppy around type deal. Not so floppy around. Alright, so to show you that it does work on the Zords that it actually was used on, which are these three here, you're going to simply compress the, well, I'm going to probably should do a lot less than that damage right there. We're going to compress down here, and we are just going to pull back and lift up. Normally this would be a major issue. After taking them apart, all I did was in these little ratchet joints here on both ends is just put some petroleum jelly, and use your own discretion up onto that, and yeah, that's all I did. And just like that, it comes up with ease. Now, I also put some right here on this pole here, and I did this for both of these. As you can see, they lift up easily. I am going to probably end up doing the same technique to tighten up these joints here to make sure that after dropping them, that I'm going to have to look for that piece later. To make sure they don't fall apart as easily, just like the arms. Alright. And I'll probably end up having to do it to these section here because they pop off. And it also, although it doesn't help this, I did put a little bit on these sections, but just like that, it makes the arms a lot easier. I'm holding that easier here and here. All I did was put some in there and just allow it to swirl around, and now it's just fine. I know I'm making this video longer than what it should be, but I wanted to point out that it can be done. Alright, back on there, you. Alright, after breaking it up, I also put some on there, but you still have to break it apart. And I did do this as well to the, throwing that down. What is that? Inside, I just put some on the inside and on this to create a lot tighter friction. Just allowed it easier to transform into skirt mode. Easier transformation, and I do not want to tighten that up because you kind of just have to get it out of the way. Always get it out of the way just to make it snap in. Okay, maybe if I have the skirt outwards like it should be, and then snap in. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, it's my methods, the methods I told you about, the methods about this, they work. They do work. Yeah, so petroleum jelly, just separate this out. You might want to put, alright, let's see if I can just, alright, once it's separated, you just pull out the front. That came off a lot easier. You want to put just a little on this section. This is so that it doesn't create so much friction. The same goes for the back side. You still have friction, it's still tight, but it's not as bad. Now you could add more to, if you wish, use your own discretion about that, but it will turn like so. I just wanted to point that out. That being said, that's basically all is it. If you have any tight parts, a little bit of petroleum jelly. If you have any loose parts, a little bit of this works. And if you have broken parts, a little bit of super glue to bind that in. Much better. Much better on that. There we go. Nice and snug. Anyway, that's all. That's it. I'll end up putting that guy back together. I'm not going to do this in front of you. It is all done, it's fun, and that's your tips. It's just to show you that it can be done. That I wasn't just blowing steam, I tried it myself. Well, I hope these tips ended up helping all of you, and keep playing, keep enjoying, and keep experimenting. New things, new ways, it's all up to you. No Pony out.